This election season, everyone's talking about the racial wealth divide, they're talking about reparations. But what's the history of the racial wealth divide? Let's talk about slavery to the present. Welcome to part one. Under slavery, some slaves did have some money, some personal belongings. How much wealth they generated for this country, we can't say that they actually got paid for their labor or were able to generate some real wealth. You had some free blacks in the North who were in like the trading and shipping businesses, and they made a lot of money. But that was concentrated among like a few black elites. But by the time we get to the Civil War, a bunch of black people fought in the Union Army and they had these pensions. And so they needed a place to store their money. So the federal government founded the Freedmen's Bureau in 1865. Underneath the Freedmen's Bureau, you had the Freedmans Bank. The Freedmen's Bureau provided things like housing, legal support, food, and then the Freedmen's Bank was how they were gonna leverage their financial power to purchase land and build schools for blacks in the South. This was really the federal government's one opportunity to even the playing field, to take the plantation masters' land and redistribute it among the black masses and for poor white Southerners. However, just 7 years after the Freedmen's Bureau was founded, Congress closed its doors. The Freedmen's Bank had been making poor investments all over the country and was already going under. But they decided to bring in Frederick Douglass in 1874 to try to save it by being over the DC branch of the Freedmen's Bank. But they already knew it was going under, and so he got in there, he put some of his personal savings into it, but he couldn't save it. The Freedmen's Bank goes under. Black people were told that a federal bank would protect their money if it went under. That was a lie. Their collective $57 million just disappeared. So when we talk about the racial wealth divide, we could talk about it right there. The chance that the federal government had to even the playing field, they widened it. So as Reconstruction comes to an end and Jim Crow grows stronger, more and more black people are forced into a sharecropping, which is also a debt system. You're on this plantation, you're not allowed to leave, so you're forced to buy food, clothes, whatever it is, on the plantation store. There's no competition. You have exorbitant prices and you have to purchase them on a credit system. So you're forcing people to take on credit knowing that they're not going to be able to repay it. And so black people keep accumulating debt through this sharecropping system or debt peonage. And so therefore, when you want to work for a different employer, your plantation owner could say, well, hold up, no, you owe me all this money. You can't go anywhere. You legally have to work for me until you work this off. And so if you refuse to do that, either you could be lynched or you could end up in the prison. You're still gonna be working on the plantation. So we talk about racial wealth divide, we take it back to this period. White elites are getting a lot more money. Poor white Southerners only a little bit more money, but black, especially sharecroppers, black people, their wealth is tanking. They're in debt. And so even though in Jim Crow you have these conditions, black people start savings and loan companies so that they can purchase land. And they also put a lot of their money in the churches because the churches provide services and they buy a lot of communal property. Yet even though you're combating this, the gap is just growing and growing and growing.